Welcome back to Crystal Clear Coaching with your host Crystal Tottenham. I gotta ask you a question today. What truth aren't you speaking? Like something you know deep down that either you want or you need to say um, to honor yourself, that you're just letting slowly churn inside your body, your system, your energy field, and your mind percolating, and is just consuming your being. Hopefully, there's nothing right now. Hopefully. But I'm sure we can all think back to a time where there was something we needed to speak up about, and for whatever reason, we were putting it off and not saying the thing that we needed to say, and how that felt to our system. Whether it's like a loss of appetite or um, an upset stomach, a head cold, like these symptoms can manifest in physical ways. Uh, Case in point, when I was working on a TV show back in would have been 2020, I I was getting sick, but I also had a lot going on that I wanted to speak to with my bosses, and I wasn't doing it because I was making myself wrong for not being able to meet their expectations, and it was in a circumstance where I had multiple bosses at the time, and they all asked me to do different things because I was often at a different location to where they were, and all the bosses wouldn't talk to each other necessarily to tell them to, so that they all knew all the things that I'd been asked to do. And so I was quite often a lone soldier in this other location, doing my job and doing anything that was needed in that area as well. But I didn't know how to say no and or say I've got too much going on. And so I kept feeling like I was not meeting expectations. I didn't know how to speak to it. I was getting more and more stressed out. I felt like I couldn't leave this job because they needed me, because it was a very busy time in the film industry. And yeah, anyway, like it was just all this mental stress load that I was holding on. I was not showing up responsible for my energy. I didn't know how at the time, didn't understand that. And um yeah, and basically it got to the point then I then got sick during some of our busiest days, and didn't think I could. I thought they needed me, so I didn't think it, but until I had to take the time off because I was legitimately unable to come to work. And it took me a fair few days to recover, and even though I should have been recovered from the physical symptoms, a few days later, it wasn't until I spoke up and talked to one of my bosses and said what had been going on for me and got that weight off my chest that I got better. So honestly, yes, I may have picked up a flu from working on the crew, or there might have been other things going on. But I was run down and susceptible, and what was weighing, like the mental load, the stress load that was weighing on me, was pulling me down too. And it took speaking my truth, no matter the cost, to have me recover and feel better and do what was for my best and highest at the time. And then, yeah, I did end up doing that job for a bit longer, but it was, I had similar energies show up for me. Not getting sick again, but just I still found it stressful and didn't know how to speak up for myself, and really learned that lesson through how it then unfolded. And um it's all good. Like I ended up no longer in that position by the end of that year, and it was a blessing because I was burnt out and I needed some time off, and I was like running on adrenals. um and yeah, and honestly, if it wasn't for being told I need to take some time, I probably wouldn't have thought I was allowed to. So anyway, hindsight, eh? But also it's just like I look back now, and with what I've learned about energetics and being responsible for your own energy, I've realized, oh man, like we gotta speak our truth at the earliest possible convenience, sometimes inconvenience, because otherwise it's just going to fester away in our systems, in our minds, our bodies, yeah, our energy fields, and um, you know when something is 100% your truth and you're going against it. You know. If you say you don't know, well, you're not listening to your body and your symptoms. You know through how it makes you feel. Like our feelings are magic, even the bad ones, because they tell us something's off. Within reason, there's definitely times where our feelings are operating off old patterns of fear, and ego, and um, not serving us, but thinking that they're serving us because it's just our inner child trying to do a good job and keep us surviving and staying in love and belonging. And that's a lovely, wonderful thing. Very glad to have survived to this point in our lives. But if we want to up level and move forward and go for what we really deeply desire, even when it's uncomfortable, we have to notice and learn to discern when a gut feeling, well, the difference between a gut feeling and fear. So, is there a truth right now? Has there been an underlying anxiety about something for you currently that, or recently, that is distracting you on a maybe weekly, maybe monthly, but probably daily basis if it's something that's really important, maybe even hourly basis? And what could you do to work towards speaking that truth at your earliest possible convenience or inconvenience? Um, because sometimes we need to be inconvenienced, because that's the only thing that gets us out of our own way. um, yeah, is there something you need to speak? Who do you need to speak to? What do you need to tell them? And importantly, no matter what happens with this truth you need to speak and speaking it to whomever needs to hear it, how might you feel afterwards? If you're like really scared of what's gonna come from this conversation, maybe it's with a boss at work, like mine was. Maybe you're just thinking doom and gloom and it's all bad case scenarios in your head. But you don't know that. What if something positive happened from it? What if you ended up getting a promotion, um or something else, or a pay rise, or like something in your favor was worked out because you had the courage to speak this truth. So I want you to, like, yes, you can let your fears do the talking and feel into what future that might have, what might happen, but it's not fact that it'll go that way. And I just want you to equally give time, at least, to the good that could happen, the good that can come from it, even if it's just a weight off your chest, and even if it's like a difficult conversation you got to have with a friend that maybe you're not vibing with anymore, and you just like know you need to hold a boundary, and yeah, you like it, you don't really want to say your maybe you need to call them out for something, some bad behavior. Maybe it's for your own good, or maybe it's for their own good. Um, but you'll feel better that you did your best to speak that truth, whether they're receptive or not, whether the other party or parties are receptive or not. You would have spoken your truth, due diligence, and that, my friend, will be a weight off your chest. I can guarantee it. It is a beautiful thing to release those truths that we keep hidden, that we almost, well, I was going to say hide behind, but we kind of hid them behind them in a way because we're not being our true authentic selves by keeping this truth, and at least in that facet of our life. And you deserve to be your true authentic self and not feel like you need to mask yourself in order to show up in places and spaces in your life. So yeah. Anyway, just thought I would do that little tidbit because sometimes we just need a little prompt, a little kick up the ass to do the thing that's good for us. Could be great for us. Depends on the situation, what's going on. Maybe, again, it'll just resolve the sick feelings that you've been potentially feeling in the stomach. And that, my friend, is worthwhile because you let that shit fester, it can turn into physical dis-ease. So we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Speak your truth, friend. And I'll leave it there for today. I'm back in my flat, but yeah, basically gonna be moving again very soon. Gotta figure out where, but that's a that's a problem for future Crystal. Anyway, I will see you again tomorrow. Hope you had a great day. Speak your truth.